we're back here at the GSL with Tasteless and Artosis. Tasosis, we have seen some dominance from Squirtle. I don't know what level this Pokemon is.
Well, as I've said before, Tasteless, the smartest people choose Squirtle as their first Pokemon.
Is that true?
Newbies are like, oh my god, it's a dragon with flames, choose Charizard. Then people are just like, oh, this is interesting. You know, they're pretty smart. They choose Bulbasaur. But the true smart guys...
True smart people pick Squirtle. And you know what?
Squirtle.
And it looks like the coach was truly a smart person as he picked the correct Pokemon from his team players. But enough of that. Let's see our third PBT for today. It's a lot of pressure on fOu right now. Let's get this going. This is the GSTL with Tasteless and Artosis. Get ready. Over here in the red, at the upper left, our player who's already 2-0'd the team he's fighting against. Let's see if he can make it a 3-0. And StarTale has to be feeling already like they've got this. Now over here in the blue, we have the guy who's got more pressure on him than anybody else in the room right now. Anybody else in East?
The best for you.
I don't taste this. You always have a lot of pressure on you. You got to make everyone at home happy. You got to be funny. You got to commentate a difficult game.
I got to do that intro part, but I don't know where the voice is going to come exactly.
I think that you may be the one.
But then again, Artosis, you know, you got to do all this analysis. You know, you got to analyze the game because I got
to make people at home laugh and Tasteless laugh.
And you got to do these interviews. You know, you got to be the Larry King Live of StarCraft while Tasteless goes to the bathroom. So you might have it harder. But what we can at least admit here in the Team League is that right now there is a ton of pressure on our Terran. He's already seen how dominant Squirtle can be. He did see some of Squirtle's miss micro there in the previous game. And I actually saw that in a way, scary enough, that didn't even matter. He still won. So I think if I was Squirtle, I'd feel like I'm on top of the world.
Oh, absolutely, man. The Terrans today are all fire types because Squirtle has been super effective against them.
Oh, well said.
Now, interesting things about this map. You're not on high ground. Also, the third base, it's very easy to take, only has 750 minerals per patch.
Yeah.
So you have to be very, very careful about how quickly you eat that base up. You know, if you make a command center down there and mule it up,
I was about to say, you don't want to drop two mules like on the same patch and back to back. You're going to end up with
maybe you do if you have something lined up for that. You know, you have to.
You think
really,
so?
You have to take that into consideration. You know, do you want to make less SCVs and mine out your patches quicker?
Ooh, that's smart. I was actually just thinking to myself that would never be a good idea, but
well, in StarCraft 1, it never was. But
yeah, we never have mules in StarCraft 1.
All right, adds this whole new level of interesting.
Tech Lab on the way now. Clearly, the fOu team feels very strongly about the 2-Ryaxine TVP.
Yeah.
This is clearly kind of like a mini metagame of what we're seeing as far as how these players feel the game to be played out. And that probe is going to hide under that beautiful palm tree.
You know what's a little bit interesting about that, Tasteless, is that...
Look, he's just chilling there.
He is. He's just chilling there.
That's a nice place. It's in the shade.
It isn't. No, actually, it's not. I see the shade of the palm tree. That's not.
Oh, he's in the shade from us.
Yeah. But you know what? This 2 barracks play, I think, is going to be a lot better on this map because, again, it doesn't have a ramp, and that is like 2.5 force fields wide even. It's going to actually be very hard to force field that off. So if your opponent does go 2 barracks and gets that quick concussive shell and gets that quick stem, you're going to have a hard time holding that off, to be honest. And I always am, Tasteless.
You always are.
Now, this Reaper is interesting to me. There's only going to be one slim area that he can jump up, otherwise he has to just run into the front.
Like, I hope this works. I think with the Reaper choice, that's a bit strange. Oh, hold that thought. We have 4 warp game timing. I guess this isn't shocking coming from the Protoss, considering this is, as you said, Artosis, a map that has a pretty large entrance. I mean, why would you... Oh, my God, is he going to spot this?
I don't think so. He's going the wrong way.
Doesn't look like it. Taken out. Denied.
But yeah, exactly. You can't really rely on force fields to keep you alive on this map as easily, so you really kind of need to ramp for that. We're going to have to see if our fOu player, the best, can take him out because of that. We're going to take out that first pylon, that's for sure.
And that pylon not going anywhere.
Kind of a naked pylon for that forward warp gate rush he wanted to do.
Well, this is going to be very tough for the Terran. You know, when you get maps where you have basically no ramp and it's a wide entrance, oftentimes, if both races can, they'll just end up butting heads heavily. It'll just become this boxing match in the middle of the map, a little bit of a micro war. By the way, this Reaper is going to come up here, and Protoss actually going to go ahead and make a Nexus.
Now, this is a lot of information this Reaper is gaining. Really wants that probe, does not get it. Can't always have everything you want, Reaper. Stop being so selfish.
You know, Reaper needs a reality check.
He does.
Now, you
Reaper needs to be grounded.
You know what's kind of funny about this is that I think if I saw that Nexus and I was Protoss, I would not assume that there are 4 warp gates.
Yeah.
I would actually just be like, okay, I think I'm getting DT rushed.
That's a good point.
I would, or you know, something else. But
or maybe just a couple warp gates. But I think this is interesting that our fOu player, the best, is actually going to go ahead and make a command center behind this. Yeah, well, it's 4 warp gates against 2 gateways, so the warp gates should be able to hold that. You have enough sentries in there. But we will see. He's coming up. This could be scary, Tasteless. He's only got 3 sentries right there.
He might have to cancel. Is the Nexus finished? No, the Nexus is still coming. He still has time to cancel if he wants to.
You know, he's going to defend this ramped area. The ramped area obviously going to be a lot easier to defend.
He's got a spotter probe over here. Uh-oh. Well, your left was not in vain, little probe.
He's going around, doesn't want to attack up the ramp. Ramps again. Force field's very good on ramps. Hard to break.
That did give one more warp round. Uh-oh. Now he has more units coming up here. I don't believe they're going to get there in time. Now, this may be just a pressure build because Terran is expanding while doing this. You don't normally attack and expand at the same time. It doesn't make any sense.
Not a whole lot.
Well, you're spending money on an expansion and throwing attacking units at them when you could have just spent that money on attacking units. So that's a general rule of thumb.
Yes,
if you're a nub.
A very good one for the nubs.
For the
and
nubs.
not just the nubs, actually, Taste.
Actually,
a lot of
for the
top-level players make this mistake.
I'm actually amazed how many people don't get that concept. You know, like... I mean, it's so fundamental.
Your weakest time is as your Nexus or Command Center or Hatchery is finishing.
Yep.
When you start it, you're pretty weak too, but believe me, I know what I'm talking about.
Right when that finishes, you're in the middle of transferring the probes if your timing's good and stuff. That's when.
Now, both players going to have their economies just boosting up. 5 barracks play for fOu, as we see. But you know what's getting a lot of Marines and Marauders out.
Sorry, I didn't mean to almost cut you off there. Now, one thing that's interesting as far as the team setup goes is I would think, in my opinion, we would actually have Linok fOu playing right now, or we would have had Choya.
That is, I think Choya is a better choice than Linok.
But you understand what I'm saying, right? Those are basically their 2 best players.
Oh,
at least I think you and me are on the same page as far as
I would say Linok certainly the most talented fOu.
And I'm just surprised that we've seen, them throw out a random and then be like, all right, 2 more Terrans. It's like at this point in time, this Protoss guy is pretty much warmed up against Terran.
He certainly is that, but at the same time, while I agree with you on that way, when you look at his actual games, he won the second one based off of Dark Templars carrying a lot of SCVs, and the first one, even though he got way far ahead, he actually almost lost. So, I think a solid Terran can be a good choice against him, even though it hasn't so far.
That is an interesting point.
Well, we do have an Observer out. Taste of Stargate's being
double
made.
Stargate.
Also making Immortal and a Colossus is queued up behind it. So
he's going for a total tech switch.
He's doing all sorts of stuff at once.
This is pretty interesting. I don't actually know what to make of the Robo and double Stargate.
But I think Stargate's a little bit odd.
Tech jumping is actually very strong if you know how to do it right.
Yeah, if you have your timings out, switching techs up is great.
And in case you guys, if you're confused with what we're talking about, I mean, if you're a Terran player and you see, like 9 Sentries, Zealots, and Stalkers, you don't ever think there's going to be Phoenixes and Colossus coming up next. And that can really mess you up.
Now, something that's interesting me, not only is he going Colossus right now and double Stargate Phoenixes, and we see there's a lot of Marines out there, which makes this very, very odd, but he's also getting a Forge. Now, obviously, +1 attack going to be great, but if he makes a cannon,
if that's a good idea.
I'm going to be in shock if he makes a cannon. I'm just
I mean, getting a forge and a weird tech jump like this, I don't know if the upgrades are the way to go.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean?
You're really spreading out your techs. You're spending a lot of money, a lot of gas on everything.
This is basically the concept of you can't actually do everything at once in StarCraft. Yes. You have to make decisions, and I don't know. However, at the same time, Terran looks like he's decided for that he's probably a good idea to go ahead and attack here. He's going to see the Colossus.
Yep. He's going to back him up a little bit. Thermal Lance is on the way, by the way, as well as another Colossus. And now he scans.
He scanned. He did scan, by the way, guys. We saw it on Artosis' screen. We didn't get a glimpse of it. He did see the Phoenixes. He's going for it.
The best has decided
that maybe that was not the best time to attack. Oh, okay. Going to relocate over here. Phoenixes, though, could actually take out one of these medevacs before they actually manage to get everything out.
And it looks like he will.
Very nice.
But a lot of Marines there taking out those very expensive Phoenixes.
Meanwhile, a little bit of a standoff here. They're mad dogging each other.
By the way, Squirtle doing a really great job sending only part of his army now back down at the choke. Looks like it is time to actually attack in 2 Colossi.
Bad force fields there.
Not done yet.
It's tough to say who's going to win this. The Colossus in the back. He needs the reinforcements to regroup with him. The Colossus is actually in a very good position right now. Terran needs to dart forward. He needs to get the Colossus alive.
That's right. The Colossus is very important.
Taken out.
Does go down. And this group unit's going to be pretty hard to take out.
Well, he does have some stalkers here and some nice force fields there. But I think you're right. I think this kind of awkward tech jump here. Oh, well, I thought those Zealots warped in from behind.
Yeah, he may get these units to run away, but a lot of damage has been done. He's lost such an expensive unit composition, whereas all the units lost for, for the best aren't really these expensive units. It's really hard to remake Colossi and Phoenixes all at once, but Marines and Marauders, not so much.
Well, it's really up to Protoss to hold this up. Protoss can't keep making Colossuses. He's probably going to have to stick with basic Warp Gate units. Although we do see another Colossus here, and Phoenix is on the way, so let's see. I don't know if he can support all his Warp Gates, a Robo and 2 Stargates. That doesn't... How many Warp Gates does he have, actually? He's still got 4?
He's got 4.
I suppose if he's not making probes, he probably could barely support that.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think he's just going to skip off on Warp Gates a little bit, just kind of warp him in kind of haphazardly.
You got it, Artosis. All right, here we go. Stim coming here. A nice force field there, but one Colossus does bite the dust. Not really micro there. And the spotter factory will be driven out, burnt down.
Driven back in.
Driven back in. He's going to go back in there with the factory. Just keep it.
Still pumping out his Phoenix.
Okay, Stim once again here. I don't know if Terran should be just attacking into this. No, there's not a lot of Marines, so I think these Phoenixes are just going to take out the very valuable medevacs. And that's going to really reduce the amount of mistakes that Terran can make. He does get the Colossus.
I'm actually rather surprised that he's targeting these medevacs down with these when he could have lifted every Marauder and kept alive
you're totally
the
right.
If you have that many, there's no Marines, just lift everything up, man. That's all.
More Stalkers and Zealots coming in here. The Colossus is out. Again, we've lost kind of how many Colossuses have been in this game. I don't know if Terran should keep doing this. I mean, Protoss is actually...
Well, you know what I like about this is that he is making a 3rd command center during this. You know, he's doing a lot of attacks, and yeah, he's losing a ton of units, but he's making another command center, and just getting that 3rd base up, if he just keeps on playing exactly like this and just reducing both their armies to almost nothing, on 3 base, he's eventually just going to win.
Sort of a rare situation we get into.
Yeah, it definitely
in StarCraft 2, where it's like, well, I'm just going to keep hammering away at him. But because of the very peculiar unit composition that we kind of see, of some Warp Gate and then Colossus and Phoenix, Colossuses and Phoenixes are pretty precious units.
They are.
Every one you lose, it's not like losing a Stalker or a Zealot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think maybe going like this, I think it could be right.
The Phoenix obviously costs even more than a century, so it's so important to keep them alive. Another thing is he just kind of started blindly making Phoenix against someone who was not even at the time making Vikings. Normally you do them in response. They do build very, very fast.
Well, let's see what happens. Note 1 depot put over there to block an Nexus being built. And Protoss also expanding. These guys are expanding pretty close to each other.
Yeah, they are.
So the 4th base is going to be an interesting moment if we get to that far.
Also, the 3rd base chosen by Squirtle is the one with only 750 minerals per patch as opposed to 1,500, so it's going to run out very, very quickly. he's going to have to be careful about that because it's not going to play like a real true third base that people are used to.
Yeah.
We actually haven't had a map with something like this yet in StarCraft 2, although there were a lot in StarCraft 1 that were similar.
All right, and as you can see, Terran getting ready for an attack. Remember, Vikings, so much range, even though Phoenixes are quite good against them. You just have to get your Colossus in a bad angle for, a few seconds, and the damage has already been done.
The unit compositions for both players, pretty strong here. As we just saw, Planetary is at the third base of the best.
That shows you that the Terran not entirely confident in the situation. Well, with just his pure army.
Very good harassment.
That's exactly what he wanted. He wanted to just get the Colossuses over there. Uh-oh. Scans to see if the Phoenixes are out of position.
Trying to just pick off anything in with those superior ranged Vikings. The Phoenixes, of course, there to hold them off. These Phoenixes can do quite well against Vikings. You just have to watch out for the Marines being stemmed in there, which, with their insane DPS, can take out Phoenixes so quickly.
Marauder on the way. Many more Marauders on the way, actually. I don't know, sometimes I get these descriptions and I just think to myself, wait
The map is green.
We got thank you. Another interesting description. We do have these green club-like hexes on the map.
I like that, actually. It's really stylistic.
I like that. That's where the units go to.
Looks like
go to their local raves. Marauders get their glow sticks out and just let loose. We're kind of waiting. By the way, Terran over here taking the bottom center location on the map, and that might be the moment where Protoss is going to be forced to sort of act.
Yeah, that's actually a great location for him. And notice how big the map actually is. There's so many bases all over the place. This map actually tastes. I'm starting to like it a little bit.
I like it already. Hold that thought. Looks like we have some Vikings, Marauders, Marines.
By the way,
up here.
Both players at 179 supply right now, just to show you how close this game really is. Trading off so many armies together and taking third bases at similar times.
I love what Terran's doing in the middle of the map.
Yeah.
He's making some turrets. He's basically just going to control the center of the map, have a bunch of stuff there.
And if you look at the mini-map, at the top right of the map, we have supply depots being built at all the expansions just to slow down any extra bases Protoss takes. Also, we do have 1-1 done for our Terran player. But nothing, despite getting that forge a long time ago, nothing for Squirtle.
Squirtle's a bit sloppier than some of these other guys. He's good, but it's definitely not the cleanest play.
Definitely does have a little bit of a sloppy style to him. And here we go, Tasteless. That Thor really doing a lot of damage to these Phoenixes. The Zealots again behind the entire army.
And it doesn't look like they have charge. They don't have charge yet.
Oh, man.
And, of course, charge is what's actually going to make them useful against units like Marauders.
Yet still, they are tanking a lot of damage. Those Colossi just dealing so much damage as well, Tasteless.
Now it looks like Protoss have managed to pull through here.
Very impressive that he actually took that army down despite, once again, trapping his Zealots behind the front range of quicker units. A huge mistake again, losing a lot more than perhaps he should have.
I cannot emphasize enough how different that battle would have looked with charge.
Would have been a rout.
Yeah.
Charge and not blocking out the Zealots. But here we go again. A fOu player just kind of microing back. The Thor does go down. Important unit there.
Turret well placed here. Now here's the problem though. With Colossuses, you can actually just go towards your opponent's expansion and hit it even if it is a planetary fortress.
Yeah, they have some pretty sick range.
Yep.
Now the Phoenix is doing their job greatly, Tasteless, taking out those Vikings that were flanking, and suddenly the best is going to find himself in not the best position.
Ooh.
96 supply against 130. Squirtle showing us the power of Colossus Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm digging the Colossus Phoenix now that I've gotten a good chance to check it out here. Now, this is a little bit perhaps overly aggressive, but he will kill the expansion.
Yeah.
Actually, I take it back.
Targets down the SCVs with the Colossus.
He says, I want to make sure this expansion is gone.
And that's what he's going to do. It'd be really quite smart to back up for a minute after this, restock your army a little bit. You don't want, for the really quick Marauder production, just roll out and own ya. By the way, +2/+1 for Marauders, and just a +1 attack for Squirtle so far. So
he's
the upgrade's definitely in Terran's favor.
He is going to fly around the map now with the Phoenixes. He wants to figure out if there's any other expansions he needs to kill, which he, in fact, does have to do, or if it's basically, or if he's won the game.
Now, a very interesting thing is happening right now.
Did he just spot the expansion, Artosis? We didn't get a shot of it.
No, he did not.
He does not know about the expansion. Okay, he's going to bank around, though, and he should go over it this time.
Now, Squirtle is well ahead, but the very interesting thing is his third base was the 750 mineral expansion. And look at this. He finds it, lifts the mules.
That's so much money lost for Terran. And they both. Whoops. You got to have one of them attack. Very nice job here, just taking out SCVs. And this is so bad right now for the Terran because Protoss is going to gear up for one more big attack.
And his supply is superior, 147 to 197. But hopefully before too much more damage or anything interesting happens, I do want to point out how interesting this map has played out because Terran got the early map control. He kept Protoss in his base, so Protoss was forced to take the third base with not many minerals. So right now, he's almost completely mined out despite being ahead. But our Terran player who got that early map advantage now he's still going to have a base that's fully mining in a minute, whereas Squirtle will not. So interesting how that played out and how intelligent it was for our Terran player to actually take the base with more minerals
Oh, and by the way, at the same time, this is a very unique strategy we're seeing here for Protoss. Protoss is expanding to Terran's old base. That's going to pressure the Terran into attacking that location, but of course,
going to make him
the
mad
Protoss,
too.
Yeah, the Protoss can go ahead and then attack the location at the bottom right, or bottom center rather. And this is something you can do if you're pretty ahead. Let's see if it works though.
Well, right now the supply is 163 for Squirtle, 120 for the best fOu. A lot of Marauders, a Thor, some Marines joining in, and a good amount of Vikings, of course.
And if this, excuse me, if Squirtle wins this, I think the next player we're going to see picked is going to be Choya.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be him or Lenot. I would say that Choya might be. But Choya's in a suit, so I wonder if he's even planning on playing today.
It's the probe centipede we just saw go by.
Yeah, notice he is actually mined out at this point. This is the only base that Squirtle's going to have, so that's a very important location on the map. He's got to be careful, because if he leaves it, then a single medevac could go and rampage through those probes.
But then again, a single medevac missing from the Terran's army might be enough to actually make the Terran Protoss lose. Win the big battle.
Yeah, that's. I mean, this map is actually really interesting. I love the way it's playing out.
Yeah, well, it's nice because it's big, it's spacious.
I love the mineral pressure provided by an easy third, but it has way less minerals.
Yeah, it doesn't have as much late game potential.
Yeah.
Which means, you get a little boost in your economy, but then
it's like a part-time base, Tasteless.
Yeah.
Like you go on dates with that base, but it's not your girl base.
No, it's not serious, Yeah. You don't have the promise ring at that base.
No, you do not.
All right, here we go. We got the Phoenix is moving out now. I think Protoss, I don't mean to be too critical, but I feel like he's being a bit too passive. I mean, Terran, he doesn't really be able to scout the right side of the map as much. So
yeah.
He does enough. Terran actually is expanding again. He is in a good position.
Well, the supply of Terran certainly has caught up quite a bit, 152 to 175.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a hard thing to say. The thing is, the unit composition being made by Squirtle is just really, really powerful, hard to deal with. But that single Thor is really going to concentrate on hitting the clumped up Phoenixes as much as possible. In fact, he should be very careful to not clump his Phoenixes, spread them out as much as he can.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the Thor can actually change the entire battle around.
Now, he's probably taken the orbital from his main and moved it there to that new expansion. And yes, he has. Yes, so he does have high Templars, by the way, Artosis.
Ooh. When you add in some high Templars, Tasteless, things start going really well in PvT.
Yeah, Psystorm is so good at clumped up Marauder Marine.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It's like it's just so good.
Well, Psystorm just finishing up. Probably wants to get Calderan Amulet as soon as possible. The supply is almost equal at this point. Looks like Squirtle is trying to wait to at least max out. And we do have a nice little warp in. There are some high Templars, but at the Terran 4th base,
we do have some
Zealots being warped in.
There we are. And this is bad. Look, he already dropped down the mules.
Yep. The Terran army now is going to get into position for a battle.
Yeah, Terran's going to say, all right, let's do this.
It's time.
It's time.
Good Viking micro so far. He's got to be careful.
He hasn't really utilized that Thor yet.
Got to target that Thor. What are you doing? Target the Thor. No, he's attacking ground units.
And you know what? It doesn't actually matter because the Protoss army is just too good right now. The Immortals will clean up that Thor. Actually, everything will clean up that Thor. And that will be game GG here any second.
Supply to 143.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, he could just do whatever he wants. It looks like he's actually just going to go for the main base. Says, all right, I know how to kill a Terran. I don't need to go for these expansions to do the runaround. I'm actually just going to go for his production facilities.
That's right. Colossi are going down. Not enough, though. Stalkers do avenge.
And there it is. GG. Wow, Artosis. Squirtle. He's like, damn, is that my face? I'm so handsome. Fix my sideburns.
Forget Lance the Dragon Trainer, Tasteless. Squirtle is the final boss of this Pokemon.
Oh,
world.
No kidding. Sheesh. Where does Mewtwo rank in that?
Mewtwo's like the best Pokemon ever.
Is he the best Pokemon ever? Well, this guy's better than Mewtwo.
You'd kill like an army of 6 level 100 Alakazam Stasis. Would be ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
That was ridiculous.
All right.
But anyways.
So, I did not expect it to look like this. I thought Squirtle might have won one game.
Totally impressed with how well he's playing. You know, he's been a little bit off and on. We did enjoy Squirtle's play occasionally, and then sometimes we were like, oh. And actually, it's been like that here as well. You know, he played pretty well in the beginning of Game 1, then kind of messed up. And then he did that DT move, which was great in Game 2.
That was really good.
The Zealots were like cheerleading behind the sentries, just running back and forth, you know, clapping for the sentries and stuff with their pom-poms on their hands.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful with the Psyblades, though. They will melt a pom-pom, believe it or not.
You can get hurt.
And then this last game, he was behind for a little bit, but he just kept on making a very powerful unit combination, and it worked out, Tasteless.
You know what it seems like? It seems like his mid-game, like when you're starting to get in between mid-game and late game, is a little bit sloppy, but everything else is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, a little announcement. I know you guys know we're going to be making GSL T-shirts pretty soon at thehandsomernerd.com. We're going to have those up for you guys as soon as possible.
Yeah. A lot of people have been asking. So.
Yeah. You know, it's Lunar New Year down here, so it's been a big break, big vacation. But we'll have those guys up for you on thehandsomernerd.com as soon as possible. We got some other great shirts, too, like the Stim shirt and stuff. Although I should have occurred to me to wear a different color shirt under the blazer since my hair is black and I look like
I think you look good, man.
I look like I'm going to a funeral.
Slick.
Like a funeral right after this show.
You look like you should be singing something in Las Vegas, man. I don't know.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Artosis. So, who are they going to pick? I have no idea. I would think Choya.
Choya's in a suit, though. We might see Leanock.
Choya's trying to be tasteless with his blazer on.
And it is... Who's this guy?
Well, this is not what we expected.
Nuclear fOu.
It's Nuclear.
I don't think we've seen him in the GSL. A lot of great players, by the way, have not qualified for GSL yet. The grueling qualifiers are grueling.
Nuclear, this is a very wild and crazy decision. It's not Enoch fOu. It's not Nuclear.
Yeah.
Nuclear. And, well, I don't really know what to say. We've never seen this guy before. See, we're right.
He actually did really. I seem to recall this guy doing really well way back in one of the team leagues that they had, where it was just like the inner team battle. We didn't commentate that, but
I know.
I watched a little bit of it. I seem to recall him doing quite well in that.
Well, this is a pretty serious decision.
It's another Terran Tasteless.
All right. Well. So
Squirtle's like
whatevs. I you know, honestly, I don't want to be too critical, but I would never pick this many Terrans over and over and over.
Man, I
mean, come on, man. I mean, by now, if Squirtle isn't perfectly warmed up already and feeling like he's riding on a wave,
well, that's what he does when you teach him Surf, Tasteless.
Yeah.
Very useful HM.
Yeah.
Not the greatest attack, but then you don't have to switch out for some ridiculous Tentacruel when you want to go through the ocean areas.
Artosis dropping some Pokemon knowledge right here. Set 4 is going to be on Metalopolis. Now, this is a map we've seen a lot before. Great map. Allows for very standard play. We can see some interesting stuff. Positions do play somewhat of a role, but we've got to sort of see it's TVP, which means We don't even exactly know what's better in what position still. This day, there's so much weird stuff you could do in this matchup. It's not like a ZVP, for instance, where we pretty much know that the Zerg always wants to be far away, the Protoss always wants to be close.
PvT, I think, is really, really an interesting matchup because there's actually so much both sides can do.
Yeah,
there's actually so much. I think it's going to evolve and evolve and evolve further and further. As we just saw in the last game, we saw players doing this before. The looks like Chelia playing the role of coach once again. Maybe he should stop giving tips because his players aren't doing all that well. I don't know.
I don't know what he's telling him, man, but this has been pretty bad start here for fOu. I honestly never dreamed this would be a 4-0, a fOu. Man.
In fact, if you put an R at the end of fOu, you get 4.
Oh my God. Settle down, Da Vinci Code. All right.
I typed some numbers into my Bible code calculator, and I came up with that, Tasteless.
Bible code. All right. So you can see the difference in appearance here. The team that is not fOu is looking pretty good. Team StarTale feeling pretty good. Oh my God, the countdown started. Let's see if fOu can make a comeback here at the GSTL.